Headlines today, Wednesday, the second day of April 2025 on Baramatu Voice TV, reaching you live from the Niger Delta Media Center in Olu of Warri, Delta State. We'll be going straight into a news story, making it to our headlines today. I am Agogo Iniko.
And I am Burst Olu. Good day. Quickly, if you're just joining this live, we're live just on YouTube, so make sure to share this live to groups, to friends, to everyone that wants to be abreast of what is going on in the Niger Delta region and in our country at large. And of course, while we are into the news, reading out the news, make sure to drop down your comments, your contributions on the issues we will be reading about. Obviously, we have lots of top stories making it to our headlines today. All right. First, with the news top story making it to our headlines today. Tinubu to flag of Niger Delta Sports Festival, over 3,000 athletes to compete. Officials of the Niger Delta Sports Festival, NDSF, revealed yesterday that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will lead dignitaries to the flag off of the Games, sponsored by the Niger Delta Development Commission and DDC. The festival, which starts today and ends on April 8, will feature about 3,000 athletes and over 500 officials competing in 17 sports. The festival's touch, which has been on a tour of the 9 Niger Delta states, beginning in Bayelsa State, is expected to be lit in a cauldron at the Uyo Township Stadium during the opening ceremony. The typically quiet and rustic Uyo Township has undergone transformation, turning the city center sports ground into a vibrant display of colors, patterns, and sports symbols. Locals were quick to comment on the changes, with one saying Niger Delta Development Commission hand has touched it. Yesterday, finishing touches were being made to decorative structures, while rigging for the performance stage and live television broadcast risers were being perfected. While security presence in the area had increased, locals still found their ways into the construction site, with hawkers loudly promoting their goods and traders setting up stands displaying sporting apparel and footwear. The opening ceremony will feature 40 music and comedy talents from the Niger Delta region, along with cultural dancers from the NDDC states. Alright, still on the news. Irate youth set ablaze Century Home Hotel over mysterious death of lodger in Delta. Irate youth of Ewelogbo, Usoko North local government area of Delta State have set ablaze Century Home Hotel over the mysterious death of a lodger, Mr. Sunday Ogofota. Ogofota had traveled from Lagos to attend the funeral of a relative when he met his untimely death. The situation led to the arrest of 4 staff members of the hotel, while the owner, Chief Joshua Ogole, was invited, interrogated, and later set free. A community source who craved anonymity suggested that the youth's actions might have been triggered by the police clearing the hotel owner of wrongdoing. Though details of the arson remain unclear, the police public relations officer of the Delta State Command, SP Bright Edafe, confirmed that a mob was responsible for the attack. He further disclosed that another hotel owned by Ogole in the local government area had previously been set ablaze. Earlier, Gbaramatu Voice had reported that the chairman of Isoko North local government area, Elder Godwin Ogorugba, ordering the sealing of the hotel. Ogorugba warned This hotel should be completely sealed up, and I want to caution individuals using their structures for illegal activities, including kidnapping, that the law will catch up with them. Recently, I convened a meeting with hotel owners in the council, and the management of this hotel failed to attend. During that meeting, we emphasized that the need to maintain a manifest to track customers' checks in and check out. Moving forward, we will take decisive actions against any property owners aiding criminal activities in our communities. The remains of Ogo Futter had been deposited at an undisclosed morgue in Ozoro.
Still on the news, Delta police bust suspected kidnappers' hideout, recover weapons and ammunition. Operatives of the CP Special Assignment Team (CP SAT) of the Delta State Police Command have successfully raided the hideout of suspected kidnappers in the state, leading to the arrest of a suspect and the recovery of one AK-47 rifle guns and 13 rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition. The State Police Public Relations Officer SP Bright Edafe disclosed this in a press statement made available to journalists in Warri on Tuesday. The statement revealed that on March 26, 2025, operatives led by the team's commander, ASP Julius Robinson, pursued a lead-on suspected kidnappers and extended their investigation to Rivers State. The team tracked down a fleeing suspect, Chideye Mohammed, and arrested him. An AK-47 rifle loaded with 13 rounds of 7.62 mm live ammunition was recovered from the suspect. Preliminary investigations reveal that the suspect and his gang typically carry out kidnappings in Ughelli, Agbaro, and other areas of Delta State, while hiding in Rivers State. The police indicated that efforts to apprehend other gang members are ongoing. During the search of the residence, an AK-47 rifle and one automatic pump-action gun were recovered. On the same day, operatives arrested another suspect, Samaila Mohammed, 35, of Udo Community, Dakina local government area, and recovered a Beretta pistol loaded with 3 rounds of live ammunition and cartridges. The suspects are currently in custody and investigations are ongoing. Additionally, the SP-SAT operatives acting on intelligence arrested a suspect selling ammunition to suspected kidnappers and recovered 82 rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition from him. The operation took place on March 25, 2025 in Olomoro Community, Isoko South Local Government Area, where the suspect Emuloki, 35, a native of Igbede Community, was apprehended. A search of his premises led to the recovery of the ammunition. Preliminary investigation revealed that Lucky had been working with Mohammed Bello, a suspected kidnapper already in custody, who acts as a middleman between the gunrunner and other kidnappers. The suspects are in custody and investigations continue. Meanwhile, the State Commissioner for Police, CP Olufemi Abaniwanda, assured Deltans that the police will maintain the current momentum in combating crime in the state. Rivers will emerge stronger from political crisis, says Fubara. Suspended Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, has assured residents that the ongoing political crisis in the state will ultimately strengthen the people rather than weaken them. Fubara made this statement when he received Muslim leaders from 20 Islamic-based groups, including the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, at his private residence in Port Harcourt during an Eid al-Fitr Salah visit. Addressing the delegation, Governor Fubara urged them and his supporters to trust in God's process, saying this season is one of love, sharing, and sacrifice. You have come to share in our pain and have made a great sacrifice through your prayers. As Christians, we believe that everything happens for a purpose, and I strongly believe that this situation is leading us towards a greater purpose. He acknowledged that the current political tension might leave many feeling depressed, but emphasized that supernatural forces may be at play beyond human understanding.
Organizers of Pro-Tinubu Wike's rally vowed to proceed with Bayelsa events. The new associate TNA is vowed to move forward with its planned mega rally in Yenegwar, Bayelsa State, in support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Chief Nyesom Wike. This comes despite a warning from Bayelsa State Governor Doyedire, who advised the organizers to halt the event, stating that he would not allow it to take place. On the 3rd, the group affirmed that the rally was intended to honor both President Tinubu and Minister Nyesom for their contributions to Bayelsa State, particularly in terms of human capital development through key appointments. Judge Turner, the leader convener of the event and leader of TNA in Bayelsa, emphasized that the rally aims to make a bold statement of solidarity and appreciation for the efforts of President Tinubu and Wike in empowering Bayelsa citizens through high-profile appointments. Turner noted that both Tinubu and Wike had played a pivotal role in facilitating the appointment of prominent Bayelsans to important positions in the federal government, thereby enabling these individuals to contribute to the development of the state, the Niger Delta, and the nation. All right, quickly, let's go on the short break, and when we come back, we'll be giving you the rest of the lead stories making it to our headlines today. welcome from that short break. Thank you for staying tuned with us. This is still Beyond the Headlines, and we are just giving you top stories making it to our headlines. All right, still on the news. Kogi government reports Senator Natasha to security agencies after rally. The Kogi state government has asked security agencies to hold Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan of Kogi Central District responsible should any violence erupt in the North Central states. In a statement on Tuesday, the state's Commissioner for Information, Kingsley Fanwo, blamed the female senator for holding a homecoming rally despite the ban placed by the Governor Usman Ododo administration. She should be held accountable for a blatant attempt to incite violence and cause unnecessary tension, Fanwo said. The commissioner also said the female lawmaker allegedly has plans to use a visit to stir trouble and violence in Kogi Central Senatorial District.
Yes, still on the news, security agencies will determine Natasha's arrest, Kogi Commissioner. Kogi State Commissioner for Information, Kingsley Fanwo, says security agencies will determine whether Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan should be arrested or not for violating Governor Usman Ododo's instruction banning processions in the North Central state. There was a directive from the state governor, and the security agencies were told to execute the directive. If someone has violated it, the security agencies do not need the governor again to give them another directive. They know what to do. Only the security agencies will be able to answer that, whether to arrest the senator or not. They know how they go about their operations. I am not a police officer, but I am very sure that she should be asked a lot of questions about her incitements. Nigeria to revoke dormant oil licenses, minister wants operators. Oil companies that have held licenses for oil wells without initiating drilling operations for the past 30 years risk losing their rights to those assets under the drill or drop provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA 2021. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heneke Lokobiri, made this clear during the Cross-Industry Group CIG meeting in Florence, Italy, organized by international oil companies, IOCs, operating in Nigeria. According to Lokobiri, any responsible government would revoke underdeveloped license and relocate them to operators willing to put them into production. We cannot continue to have assets sitting idle for 20 to 30 years without development. If you are not utilizing an asset and it remains underdeveloped for decades, it neither adds value to your books nor to us as a country, Lokobiri stated. The minister urged industry players to explore collaborative measures such as shared resources for continuous assets, farm out, and the release of underutilized assets to operators ready to invest in production. Lokobiri also called on oil companies to consider farm-out agreements for assets close to existing infrastructure rather than spending heavily on new floating production storage and offloading FPSO units. He emphasized that the administration of President Bola-Tinubu has provided incentives to encourage seamless and profitable operations in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. He also highlighted the need for IOCs to support local refining efforts, noting that more refineries are coming on stream and will require a steady supply of crude oil. The chairman of the Oil Producers Trade Section OPTS, Osage Osumbo, commended the minister for his direct engagement with industry players and acknowledged the federal government's commitment to advancing the sector.
Still on the news, Aboyne governor arrests 7 commissioners, 1 local government chairman for contract delays, breach of agreements. The Aboyne state government has arrested 7 supervising commissioners and a local government chairman handling the construction of 140 housing units for the Izo and Amaze communities displayed in Ezilo/Eza Ezilo communal crisis in Ishielu local government area of the state. Those supervising commissioners arrested include Professor Omari Omaka, Commissioner for Tertiary Education, Commissioner for Environment, Victor Shuku, Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Mr. Ifeanyi Ogbuewu, Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters, Ushena Igwe, Commissioner for Health, Dr. Moses Ekuma, Commissioner for Project Monitoring, Felix Igboke, and the chairman of Afikpo local government area, Mr. Timothy Noashi. The state government arrested them over the delay in delivery, breach of contract agreements, terms and conditions of the job. The chairman of the State Executive Council Committee on Izo and Amaze Housing Project, Dr. Lang Donate, disclosed this in Abakaliki. The state's capital said they had no choice to arrest them since they failed to comply with the contract agreement. The Nigeria police has equally issued invitation letters to those who were not at their homes at the time of the arrest. Tension in Uromi as security agents take over after mob killing of 16 travelers. Police, military, and plainclothes security operatives have taken over strategic location in Uromi, headquarters of Eastern Northeast Local Government area of Edo State, following the killing of 16 Natan travelers by a mob last Thursday. The heavy security presence is reportedly aimed at preventing possible reprisals as anxiety grows among residents over potential retaliatory attacks.
Yes, still on the news, Uromi killings, DSS operatives arrest 2 principal suspects. Operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, have arrested 2 principal suspects allegedly involved in the killing of 16 travelers in the Uromi, Eastern Northeast Local Government area of Edo State last week. The Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Friday Itwa, announced this in a statement on Tuesday. He said the suspects were apprehended in Uromi town following credible intelligence. According to him, operatives of various security agencies are hunting for other key suspects involved in the unfortunate incidents. Moving forward, fuel to sell for as low as 750 naira per litre before year ends, according to NIPS. The National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, says that with Dangote Refinery and other coming on board, Nigerians should expect a crash in the price of premium motor spirit, better known as petrol. The product was sold for less than 200 naira per litre before the removal of fuel subsidy by President Bola Tinubu. It currently sells for around 930 naira per litre, depending on the area. However, the Director General of NIPS, Ayo Omotayo, says better days are ahead for the country.
All right, still on the news. Peter Obi, FRSC Zonal Commander, paid condolence visit to Governor Rada. The 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has paid a condolence visit to Katsina State Governor Diko Rada following the passing of his mother, Ajiyar Safaru Umaru Baribari. Alright, Obi expressed his heartfelt condolences to the governor, his family, and the good people of Katsina State. In a statement signed by Ibrahim Kala Mohammed, the chief press secretary to the governor of Katsina, Obi was accompanied by the former Minister of Finance, Nenandi Usman, and the national spokesperson of the Labour Party, Ayaji Yunusa Tanko. Rainstorm wreaks havoc in Kwara. A rainstorm disaster has rendered many residents homeless in Ogele, Asa Lake Government area of Kwara State. The incident, which occurred on the 9th of Eid al-Fitr, destroyed public infrastructure and residential buildings. The affected property included the Ansarul Islam Primary School, Community Secondary School, Health Center, and mosque. Other facilities destroyed by the rainstorm are concrete poles and high-tension wires supplying electricity to Ogele, Afon, and adjoining communities. Some victims of the rainstorm said they were still counting their losses. They appealed to the government at all levels, public-spirited individuals, and organizations for help.
Yes, and the last story making it to our headlines today. Police arrest suspected kidnapper, rescue 2 students in Nasarawa. The police authorities in Nasarawa State have arrested a suspected kidnapper at a student lodge behind Nasarawa Estate, Tudun Kari, Lafia. The arrest followed a distress call received on Sunday that some kidnappers were operating at the lodge. Confirming this in a statement on Tuesday, the spokesperson of the Nasarawa State Police Command, Raham Nansel, said 2 students of Federal University, Lafia, were abducted during the attack. He said following the receipt of the information, Commissioner of Police Shetima Joro Mohammed mobilized operatives of the anti-kidnapping unit and A Division Lafia to track down the perpetrators. And that's the news on Beyond the Headlines, reaching you live from the Niger Delta Media Center in Olu of Warri, Delta State. I hope we've been able to share some information to you. Yes. So briefly, before we go to some of our list stories making it to the headlines today, we wish to issue a correction regarding our earlier report on the Supreme Court ruling. Due to an editorial oversight. We presented the previously decided Supreme Court case as against current development. We sincerely apologize for that oversight
misinformation.
And the misinformation. It was a mistake from our part, and at Gbaramatu Voice we uphold the highest standards and of accuracy and journalistic integrity. Once again, we sincerely apologize for the mix-up. Thank you so much for staying with us on Beyond the Headlines today. Best, do you have anything to say?
All right, nothing much. Just to appreciate our viewers for joining us on this wonderful program. And if you were not, available from the start of the program, you can go back to our YouTube channel, GbaramatuVoiceTV, to watch a recap of what we just talked about the headlines, the news story that made it to our headlines, obviously. And do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok at Gbaramatu Voice. And for more detailed story, visit our website www.gbaramatuvoicenews.com. And of course, Beyond the Headlines is open for sponsorship. If you want to be a sponsor of this program, you can do well to reach us via our social media page or call number that is displayed on the screen.
Yes, thank you so much for that. I think do we have comments? You think
All
do
right.
we have comments? Yes.
Okay, quickly,
Let's
let me
quickly
check
check.
if we have
Yes.
some comments on YouTube. All right, because we are not live on Facebook.
Okay, so
Okay, and no comments on YouTube.
all right, so we'll be calling it a day. But before then, one of the news stories says that before the end of the year, Petrol will go lower. The cost of the premium motor spirit, which we all know as petrol, will be going down. What do you have to say about that?
I pray so. I hope so. I sincerely hope so, because as an average Nigerian, if you're talking about things getting the price of things, foodstuffs and all of that getting high, it's still centering on fuel, petrol, because of the high cost of petrol. So I'm just hoping and praying, if I can even pray for the fact that petrol should go back.
Yes,
so
now, I was about saying that now the news read as low as 750. Is 750 really low?
750 is not actually
compared to
low.
200 naira that we were paying.
No, the
truth
truth is that we cannot even compare it to I don't think it is possible. Maybe in the next 2-3 years.
Yes,
but do you think petrol will actually go back to 200 naira next year? I'm not even talking about this year.
I doubt, but we are praying. We are still hoping something, because 750 is still not.
It's still very on the high side.
And petrol has a way of controlling the economy.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to pray. Even the farmer who produces gari,
you definitely transport your produce.
Fuel don't cost to carry on from the village. They must
Even
tell you something. So everybody
market women that they just have to deal with local producers and all that. They will still tell you that you not say fuel don't dear.
Yes, it's more like the national anthem now, but it's the reality. You can't do without it. If transporters they will take their share that they will tell you that things are expensive in the market, so they have to, apart
Obviously.
from the fuel, the cost of petrol, they also have to increase it for them to meet up with
the
the
standard
daily
as well. Because
demands.
you don't expect other people to be increasing their produce due to the fact they're actually dealing with fuels and all of that, and me. I have to increase mine as well
of course,
to meet up with the standard of those people, and that's one of the things that is causing it. Some people that are actually not even dealing with fuel directly, they feel, you are increasing your produce, then why can't I increase mine as well?
So everybody, God, just increase your own. That I hope.
But we pray it should actually
really come
because
down,
in fact it is something else. So I think we should actually, if the price of petrol can actually get decreased a little bit, I think it will help
it will reduce so many things, the cost of transportation especially, because you see this the tricycle riders known as keke drivers, you see this fuel matter. Once it's expensive, fuel don't cost. But when it comes down, you don't hear them. They don't say anything. Okay, this used to be 200 now. Okay, pay 150.
Okay,
they won't say anything.
Pay 150.
They won't say it, but why?
Once they've already given a price tag. I can remember when we're having this Corona period, 2020. That was the time they were all emphasizing on space.
Yes.
So when you want to board a bus, it's not up to I think it's usually 7. So most times at that time it was not up to 7 passengers because of the spacing and everything. So they included the transport. One person
would pay for 2 seats,
people.
and at the end of the day, after everything went down, they didn't go back.
We are still paying that same money,
same amount. And in fact, I see the transportation. I will take it personal because It's
No, it's
really
actually
not,
the truth.
yes, and it's really not fair. It's
Whenever
not
fuel
fair.
prices increase, it is literally dealing with everybody. It
Every
is
sector,
telling on
every
every
sector,
sector
from
of,
agriculture to every sector, health, education, because we all need the means of transportation to do go about our daily activities. So please, it will be a good one if the fuel can go as low as in quotes 750, as low. But to me, 750 is still not so low.
talking about one of the stories, the lead stories that make it to our headlines. This happened in Nasarawa. Police arrest suspected kidnapper, rescue 2 students in Nasarawa. In fact, we cannot overemphasize now this issue of kidnappers, students in school. They are no longer safe. Now they feel the school environment is a safe place for students to be.
Yes.
Obviously, you left your house,
Yes.
you left your various locations, left your family to further your studies and become a better person in the future.
Yes.
And you now not feeling safe in a school environment. In fact, I am actually very happy that the students, they've been rescued.
But the question is, how are they students? How did they gain access to the student environment?
Anything that can happen
How?
in this present
How?
age. The
Are they
issue
no
of
security operatives? Are they no university? In fact, it's
the issue of
because
insecurity.
I feel right now the students will they be at rest knowing that something, meaning anybody can just come in any day and kidnap somebody. Will they be settled enough to learn? Will they be?
In fact, the issue of insecurity is becoming very alarming in our country.
Yeah.
Because of recent, we are talking about one in Kaduna State where students were kidnapped and all of that. In fact, this is a very strong message to our governors, our leaders, actually, people that in leadership role in this state, in our country at large. I think security measures for security should be appropriately put in place to avoid, I cannot come from my house and, I want to come and study and further my education, and I'll be afraid of my life due to the fact that, one can be kidnapped, and not even in a school environment. I think the school environment should be the safest place for students. But now I think it's otherwise.
Yes, and now talking about the Kogi state government asking security agencies to hold Senator Natasha responsible. That is, if there are violence in the North Central. There was a ban from public rallies, and then Senator Natasha went ahead to organize a homecoming, and then a lot of people attended, and she came with an helicopter. Okay, you said we shouldn't go by road, and then she came by air. So I'm wondering the stunts.
In fact, that woman, I actually don't even know the words to use to describe her, but she's just would I call her, I actually don't want to use any word to describe her,
but I think she's got a thick skin. Thick skin is
in fact. All right, what? We are still on the edition of Beyond the Headlines. All right, with all what we've been discussing,
what's your
make
take?
sure what's
Drop
your take on all of these issues.
Yes.
What is your take on all of these issues we have been talking about? Put down your comments, put down your contributions and your questions. I haven't been seeing comments. I want to see more comments on the news we have been talking about. All right, put down your comments and make sure to share this live. Share this live to groups, to a lot of groups, people that want to know what is happening in their country. Make sure to share it. We want to see more viewers, and as you're watching this live, please state it down on the comment section. Put down your location, where you're watching us from. I would like to know where you're watching us from, and if you're actually watching for the very first time, put it down on the comment section below. I want to know. In fact, I want to ring an imaginary bell for you.
Yes, we miss doing that.
All right, put it down on the comment section. We appreciate you guys for staying tuned with us, staying tuned on Beyond the Headlines. Obviously, if this is your first time, this is where we take you beyond the news, giving you in-depth analysis, insights, and perspective that matters. All right.
Yes. So I think, still talking about
A special tribute.
yes. So
alright.
we have a special tribute to His Majesty. Okay, so sorry, that's a mix-up there. We really sincerely apologize for the mix-up, but we have a story. We have something coming shortly to deliver to you. So still talking about the news stories. What do you think about what's it called now? Sorry.
Also,
I
we
think
have
I'm mixing up this story
the
here.
Uromi killings.
Yes. I was about talking about that.
Two principal suspects have been arrested, by the DSS operative. I actually want to appreciate,
security
all
operatives,
this.
yes.
For the fact that we're actually clamoring on insecurity, we cannot overlook the efforts of these security agencies in all of this.
Because
And
it
all
will
right.
help clamp down the insecurities in the country.
Now, talking about it, if you probably were not on the live, we talked about have operatives of the DSS, like DSS operatives, have arrested two principal suspects that was involved in the killing of 16 travelers.
Yes.
16 people in Uromi, Ishan, Northeast local government area of Edo State around last week. In fact, this is a very brutal one.
And that's why we need to condemn jungle justice. Because a lot of people, innocent citizens, they have actually gone down due to jungle justice. That's one thing we keep, you get someone committing a crime, hand them over to the police, hand them over to the security agencies. Because when you do that, then they investigate. Who are you? What were you doing? Why were you found there? But you're assuming that these persons are kidnappers, and then you burnt them. It's
All right, but
it's a sad one.
Yes, but this was actually talking about, these people, these two suspects were actually involved in killing 16 travelers. So they killed 16 people traveling in Uromi, Ishan local government area in Edo State.
It was a jungle justice. It was a jungle justice.
In fact, that is not a good one at all. We don't support either of this. In fact, the souls that they lost in this, may they rest in peace.
Yeah. So talking about the organizers of Pro-Tinubu Wike's rally, they vowed to go ahead with the event in Bayelsa State. Now, my question is, why did they choose this time where there is a kind of a turmoil in River State? Why are they choosing to come out now to go for a rally to support Wike and Tinubu, thanking them? According to them, they say they want to thank Tinubu and Wike for everything, for the appointment he has given to Bayelsans and the Ijaw community. And of course, they listed some persons that have benefited from the appointment. But do you think this is the right time to actually
do all of that
with all the turmoil and going on? And I think the governor has also told them to not to do it, but they insisted on going ahead with it.
In fact, this is beyond what we see, beyond what
the
we
headlines.
This is beyond what we see, beyond what we know. Now, these are the questions we are directing to our audience,
yes,
to our viewers.
That's why you need to drop your comments.
Session,
yes, interactive
as possible. As we are dropping it back to back, put down your comments as well back to back. You understand? So the show, the beyond the headlines, obviously, can be interactive. And as possible.
Yes, and of course, the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara, he's still coming out, showing up, giving people the assurance that all will be well. In his message to Muslim brothers for the Eid al-Fitr celebration, he said that all will be well, that no matter what is going on now, that he knows that there will be a divine intervention.
In fact,
I cite a godly man there.
Yes, I actually personally believe all will be well in River State. I believe this crisis is just for a short phase of time, I believe everything will be restored back. The river state that we all know will go back to river state.
Yes, no, now he said, as Christians, we believe that everything happens for a purpose. And I strongly believe that this situation is leading us towards a greater purpose. And then the question is, what is the greater purpose? Because everyone, our fingers are crossed and everyone is watching, plus the international communities, everyone is watching to know what unfolds after the 6 months suspension of Siminalayi Fubara. Yes, we're all watching. You can also drop your take. What do you think? Do you think Fubara will come out of this, or do you think something else will happen after the 6 months suspension of Siminalayi Fubara, the governor, the suspended governor of Rivers State? Yeah.
All right, so we're still very much live on Beyond the Headlines. Quickly, let's go on a short break. And when we come back, we'll be giving a special tribute to His Majesty Ogiame-Atuwashi III, the Olu of Warri, on his 41st birthday. All right, stay tuned.
Welcome back. It's still Beyond the Headlines on GbaramatuVoiceTV, reaching you live from the Niger Delta Media Center in Olu of Warri, Delta State. And of course, this we're having a special tribute to His Majesty Ogiame-Atuwashi III, the Olu of Warri, on his 41st birthday. On this remarkable day, all of us at GbaramatuVoiceTV join the Ishekiri Kingdom and well-wishers across the world in celebrating His Majesty Ogiame-Atuwashi III as he marks his 41st birthday. His Majesty's reign has been one of vision, wisdom, and steadfast commitment to the progress and unity of his people. Under his leadership, the Ishekiri Kingdom continues to flourish with renewed cultural pride, economic advancement, and strengthened bonds of peace with neighboring communities. As a custodian of tradition and a forward-thinking monarch, His Majesty embodies the perfect blend of heritage and modern leadership. His efforts in promoting sustainable development, youth empowerment, and regional cooperation serve as a strong reflection of his dedication to the well-being of his people and the Niger Delta as a whole. On this special occasion, we celebrate his life, his achievements, and the bright future that lies ahead for the kingdom under his reign. May his days be filled with divine wisdom, strength, and good health. May his reign continue to bring prosperity, unity, and greatness to the Ishekiri people and beyond. Long live the king, Ogiame-Swo. This message is from GbaramatuVoiceTV. All of us at GbaramatuVoiceTV. All right, so this message is from all of us at GbaramatuVoiceTV. Yes, wishing the Olu of Warri a happy birthday on his 41st birthday. Yes.
All right, that is all we have for Beyond the Headlines today on the top stories making it to our headlines today. Thank you very much for staying tuned with us. And of course, join us tomorrow, same time, on Beyond the Headlines. Yeah, Best Olu of Warri is my name.
And I am Agogo Iniko. Thank you so much for staying with us today.